Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about a novel that quite frankly disappointed me in 2021. I wasn't expecting this book to be as much of a disappointment, and to be quite frank, it was a bit boring as well. If you've clicked on this video, then you know what book I'm actually talking about. That being Jaws by Peter Benchley. This book is obviously the inspiration for the Steven Spielberg movie of the same name, and which is a classic. If you haven't seen Jaws, then I would highly recommend that you go and watch it. I wasn't planning to read this book at all this month. I knew what the story was all about going in, and I was really excited. I actually read Jurassic Park. That one was actually written by Michael Crichton, and obviously they are completely different authors, but I was excited to actually get into this one as I am a big fan of the movie, and I was really excited, but this one let me down. And this is kind of going to be a review slash discussion slash rant video, so let's get into this thing. So before I tell you what the story is all about and get this video rolling, I'm just going to say that this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this book. So for those of you who haven't watched Jaws, let me just briefly explain the plot to you, because the plot, when you think about it, is really basic. It's pretty much a American seaside town or city or whatever that gets attacked by a shark. All these swimmers go into the sea and they get killed by the shark, and the members of this town have to come together and kill the shark and save their community and also their summer business as well. That is pretty much what the story of Jaws is, and if you've seen the movie, this is pretty much what you're going to get, but not really. The beginning and the ends are more or less what the movie is like, but the middle is where it fell down for me personally. So the story opens up by introducing us to our main character called Chief Brody, who is the sheriff of this seaside town, and everything's all great. Everyone's all getting set up for the summer season, and they are all excited to welcome tourists to their town because that's where they get all their money from and all their business from. And yeah, I mean, Chief Brody seems to be an okay guy, and then one day a swimmer is attacked by a shark, a great white shark to be more specific. The way that this shark is portrayed is scary. This is probably the best part, or one of the best parts of this book, apart from the writing style, which this is actually written in such a good way. While I'm actually reading it, I'm actually thinking this could actually be released today and no one would even question it. This was actually written in the 70s, 1974 I believe, or 73, pretty sure it was 74. So the writing style was really good, but this shark is absolutely phenomenal. It is one hell of a killing machine that doesn't have a conscience, and it just wants to swim and eat, and that's all it wants to do. We don't need to know its motivations. We don't need to know what it's thinking. We don't need to have an inner monologue with the creature itself. It's just a mindless killing machine. So, as the movie portrays, no one in this town takes this shark any seriously, and they just say, "Oh, it'll go away eventually. We don't need to worry about that pesky shark," and they're all excited to get into the summer season. But more people get killed by this shark, and then they ultimately have to try to stop it. About halfway through the book, as I said, it drops down for me, as there's a big chunk of this book where the shark isn't even shown. It is mentioned, it is talked about, but in the middle of this book they are having Chief Brody and Cooper, who is this fish expert that comes to this town, has a dinner party, this big dinner party, and they just talk. It's just expositions, and they occasionally mention the shark, but there's no urgency about killing this shark. It's actually killed, I think, about this point, about 2 or 3 people, but there's no urgency about trying to stop it. As I was saying to some of my booktube friends, the shark seems to be more of a inconvenience and a nuisance, rather than this like imminent danger and threat that this town has to dispose of and get rid of in order to survive. I mean, this shark's more or less brushed off to the side and kind of like not taken seriously. And also throughout this book, it is constantly referred to as fish. More specifically by Quint, who I'll get to in a minute. And that was really irritating for me. This shark, this great white shark, is a thing of beauty. It is a killing machine that is like teeth and bone and flesh, and they kind of trivialize that by making it sound, oh, like only a fish. It's like a goldfish, you know. It's like, oh my god, it was really frustrating. It really was. And also halfway through this book as well, characters' sexual preferences and fantasies are explored. Like Chief Brody's wife and Cooper have a discussion, and Chief Brody's wife tells Cooper her sexual fantasies, like, oh, she wants to be molested, and like, you actually get the point. She wants to be sexually assaulted, and Cooper actually tells her, oh, is the person black in you? Is the man black in your fantasy? And thinking, what the hell has that got to do with anything about a killer shark? And I was just like really frustrated. I'm like, why does it matter if she fantasizes about a black man sexually assaulting her? I mean, it could be like E.T. assaulting her, and it wouldn't make any blind bit of difference. And they actually just go super in depth with everything as well. And I'm thinking, guys, you do know that there's a shark that's killing people. It's just bitten a child in half one day ago, and you're talking about your sexual fantasies and having dinner parties and just saying, oh, don't worry about the shark, it's going to swim off whenever it gets bored or wants to like go somewhere else. This isn't going to go away. And it's just really frustrating. So eventually the 3 main guys, Chief Brody, Cooper, go to this fish expert called Quint, who in the movie Quint makes himself known and says, right, I will sort this problem out for the town. But in the book, Chief Brody and Cooper go to Quint, and they go off on this boat, and they hunt this fish down, or this, see, I'm even doing it now, this shark down. And Quint is a okay guy. He's more of a Captain Ahab figure. He wants to find and kill this shark, and he has a personal vendetta against this shark, and he has like a very tunnel vision. He wants to kill this shark and nothing else matters to him. And yeah, I mean, he's an okay guy, he really is. But at this point in the book, it does pick up a little bit, but at this point I didn't really care. I just wanted to have it over and done with. Another thing that this book brings up ever so slightly is one of these characters is unfaithful to their husbands in this fictional world. And when they're confronted about this, that the person they suspect to be cheating on their wife with, they confront them and say, where were you at this specific moment in time? And they were like, oh, I was actually with this actually lady. And they say, oh, I knew you were lying because that woman is an open lesbian. And I'm like, what does this have to do, again, with hunting a killer shark? The premise of the movie Jaws was really straightforward. And I know movies and books differ a lot, because movies have to cut out the slow parts in a book, but I'm like, why do we need to know this? And it's not done in a disrespectful way. It's not, and also going back to the black man section, it's not done in a racist way. I'm pretty sure that the N-word is never dropped in this book, but it slows down a lot, and I'm like, these sections don't actually have to be in here. So when the book ended, I just accepted it. As I said at that point, I didn't really care, and I just wanted it to end. And it didn't really have like a big climax. It just seemed to end suddenly, and there was no like final fight like there was at the end of the movie, or a final confrontation. And that was kind of disappointing to me. So usually in these videos I say what my likes and dislikes were, but you can probably tell what they were. My likes probably were the writing style of this book. It is written in a good way and in an easy way. I've got it on my Kindle as well, so I will probably get back to this one eventually and give it a reread, and who knows, I might even like it even more on the reread. The characters were okay, the setting was fine. The shark and the writing style were probably the best parts of the book for me as a whole. And my dislikes were pretty much everything else. The characters were bland, the scenery was bland, the town and its community was bland and okay. That middle section of the book kind of dipped down for me, and there just wasn't seem to be any focus or desire to get rid of this shark or this mindless eating machine that was terrorizing their town. It was kind of like a serial killer but under the sea, and you never knew who was going to get killed next, or what was going to happen next. And I know the shark isn't supposed to be the main focus of the book. I knew that. I knew that the shark was kind of like Pennywise in It, as the clown in It isn't the main focus. The characters are the main focus, and the clown is more or less in the shadows, waiting to pick off all his victims one by one, and you don't know how he's going to do that or what's going to happen. That's more or less what I knew what Jaws was going to be like, that the shark was going to be on the side and you never know what was going to happen, and the characters were going to be the main driving focus. But there was no urgency or imminent danger, or the characters didn't feel that this shark was much of a threat to them. And that was what really annoyed me as well. Like, even in It, Pennywise, was a real danger and threat to these kids, and kids actually knew that. And there was like this danger in their mind that the clown was going to get them. But in this book, as I said, the shark seems to be more of a inconvenience than a nuisance. And you're like, damn, that pesky shark. It will go away eventually when it gets bored. Thinking, oh my god, I got so frustrated with this book. So what I'm going to rate this book is probably more stars than it rightly deserves. But I'm going to give it a slightly above average rating, and that is a 3 stars out of 5. The reason why I'm going to give it that is purely because of the writing and the way the shark was portrayed and how it was described in the book. This book was a slog to get through, but I'm going to give it a 3 stars out of 5 because I think it deserves it despite all of its flaws. So in conclusion, if you have seen the movie Jaws and you are curious about reading the novel, go into it knowing that this is pretty much nothing like the movie. The beginning and endings are more or less the same as the movie, but there is a big chunk of the book in the middle that is nothing like the movie. So know that you're going to get that. Know that this is going to be a slow read, and just keep in mind everything that I've actually told you in this video. But I would say give it a go. It's not going to be for everyone. People are going to be disappointed in the book, and some people may love it. If you love this book as well, that is great. But as I say in all my videos, this is just my opinion. I will probably get back to this one eventually and give it a reread, and I might like it even more, or a bit more than I did. But right now, I would say make up your own minds, give it a read, give it a listen to. I will have a link down below in the description to the link that I found on YouTube to the audio version, so in case you want to listen to it on audio. But just give it a try. You might like it, you might not, but make up your own minds. But for me personally, I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone. There are a lot more better books out there that you can read. Like if you want to read a book that was adapted into a Spielberg movie, I would recommend Jurassic Park over this one, but that's just my opinion. So that's it guys, that is my review for Jaws by Peter Benchley. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, subscribe if you want to. If you do subscribe, please click on that bell so it will remind you about whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. I will also have a link down below to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads and see what I'm currently reading and message me or whatever. And with all that out of the way, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.